And welcome to the Katsman Show. I'm your host, Katsman. We speak to you about life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. So the holiday of Hanukkah is almost upon us. And I'd like to speak about the relationship between Hanukkah and teaching your children about money. Well, I'll tell you something interesting. Let me start off with a joke. I don't usually do that, but there's a funny joke that I heard from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. Since he was an Indian chief in a modern society, he'd never been taught the old secrets. And when he looked at the sky, he couldn't tell what the weather was going to be. Nevertheless, to be on the safe side, he replied to his tribe that winter was indeed going to be cold and the members of the village should collect wood to be prepared. But also, being a practical leader, after several days, he had an idea. He was go to the phone booth, call the National Weather Service, and ask, is the coming winter going to be cold? It looks like this winter is going to be quite cold. Indeed, the meteorologist of the National Weather Service said. So the chief went back and he told the people to start collecting more and more wood to be prepared. A week later, once again, he called the National Weather Service and he asked them again, is it going to be a cold winter? Yes, the man said at the National Weather Service, it's for sure going to be really, really cold winter. So he went back to his people and he ordered them to collect every scrap of wood that they could find. 2 weeks after that, he called the National Weather Service again and he said, last time, right? Absolutely, are you absolutely sure that the winter is going to be very, very cold? He said, the man said, absolutely, it's going to be one of the coldest winters ever. So the chief asked, how can he be so sure? And he said, the National Weather Service man said, well, because the Indians are collecting wood like crazy. You get it? So the holiday of Hanukkah is almost upon us, right? Which means everybody's getting ready with their jelly donuts with their stuff with all kinds of flavors and what have you. Some of us are on diets are going to stick to, almonds. What are you going to do? Maybe I'll have some raw broccoli. But besides that, I want to speak about, like I said, I want to speak about the relationship between Hanukkah and teaching children or educating children about money. Okay, it was just like 2 weeks ago that it was like Black Friday, right? Everywhere you turn, we were blitzed, advertisements, spend money, everything's cheap. You got to buy. Okay, do you need the item? Can you afford the item? Who cares? Buy now, pay later, right? It doesn't make a difference. As long as it's on sale, you got to buy it. So I think it's interesting, the proximity of Black Friday, the global shopping spree, let's call it, to the holiday of Hanukkah and serve as a reminder on how we should educate our children, maybe ourselves also, with respect to money. Children are confronted with really, really negative ideas, images, messages, I would say, regarding money, right? You got to spend money, buy things you don't really need, because the more you have, the more you buy, the more material assets you have, that's what brings you happiness. We're sold that fantasy, right? That more and more things that you have, ultimately, that's the way to being happy. But as we know, and those people who thought that way and then open up their garage and find it lined with all the things that they bought because that was going to bring them happiness, and they're still no closer to happiness as they were then, can attest to the fact that more things don't necessarily equal more happiness. So we have to fight against this prevailing culture of financial irresponsibility and teach the kids, our kids, the proper role of money. And I think that message is found in the holiday of Hanukkah. There are a lot of different reasons why. There's a custom on Hanukkah to give money. It's called Hanukkah Geld in Yiddish, but we give children, other people, money. According to one of the commentators, his name is the Magen Avraham, the custom of giving Hanukkah Geld enabled the poor people to get money needed to buy candles without feeling any shame, right? So people would just give money. It was accustomed to give other people money. They give it to the poor, and they would have that money to spend to buy Hanukkah candles. There's another answer, though. The concept of giving this Hanukkah Geld, this Hanukkah money, is conveyed in a passage in the Code of Jewish Law, where it states, it is forbidden to derive any benefit from the lights of the Hanukkah menorah, even to use the light to count your money, right? That's sort of an odd phrase, right? Count your money. Why would that be used here specifically? I think the reason is because there's the root of the word Hanukkah is the Hebrew word of chinuch, which means education. Hanukkah is a time when we celebrate the Jewish people prevailing over the Greek Hellenists who sought the spiritual destruction of the Jewish people. Today, this culture is based on consumerism, instant physical gratification, and that's as big a threat to our society as Hellenism was to the Jewish people then. And the symbol of our culture clearly is money, right? Money talks, as they say. A child needs to know where money comes from. To a child, it seems the money just comes out of a wall, right? It's always available. When you run out of money, you go to a wall, you type in your code and voila, out comes money from just a hole in the wall, right? That's pretty cool. It's not really real, but for a small child, that's what it is, right? It's even worse when a child sits next to a parent, on their desktop or on their phone, deciding what to buy online, right? In such a case, you don't even need cash, right? You just keep clicking what you buy, what you need, and then you go to pay out, and then you click again, and you bought something. There's no even concept of like putting your hand into your pocket and taking out money, or knowing how much money you actually have in the bank, if you can even afford the purchase, right? It doesn't even exist. It's like there's this maybe concept of money, but there's nothing physical about it. For this reason, I think it's important to tell our children that when they receive this Hanukkah gelt or this Hanukkah money, that they should give some of it to charity. Then we should talk to them about saving. Ask your child what would they like to use their money for, right? If they want to buy a new cell phone, a new Xbox, a bicycle, whatever, right? That they need to say, you have to explain to them that, well, the way to get to that is saving up the money, right? You can't spend it now and then expect magically to have enough money to buy whatever it is later on. Children need to understand, even though we're given money, that overall, to get a lot of money, you actually have to work hard. That's how you earn it. You earn money. With older children, I think that you need to really speak about long-term savings, whether they're babysitting or mowing lawns, or my favorite is collecting bottles and getting the free deposit that the government so lovingly charges us. But it's like money right there for kids, right? It says go collect the bottles, bring them back to the supermarket, and you make money, right? Mowing lawns, working hard, delivering papers. I think I just dated myself. That's what we did back in my time. We delivered newspapers, but that's not so relevant anymore, is it? We should give Hanukkah gelt to educate our children to the importance of giving charity and doing good deeds. They need to learn that this money should be used for constructive purposes, and that the pursuit of money for its own sake is not the point of our existence. Teaching our children good money habits is a good way to beat back the forces of modern day Hellenists and internalize the message of Hanukkah. Okay, so use Hanukkah to really teach your kids, instill in them good money habits. I wish you all a very happy festival of lights. Don't eat too much, and if you do, wash it down with some broccoli. That's the key. Okay, so it's one of the superfoods, I think, along with blueberries. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast, and we'll speak to you soon.